Hey gang, FLX Beer Reviews, back with another episode of As the Beer Swirls. I'm Dan.
I'm Mike.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe from the Beer Patrol.
Joe from the Beer Patrol. Ask Dan what we're drinking.
It's your beer.
You're supposed to ask me what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
So this is a beer from the Other Half. And
Not
collab
other
with-
half, the other half.
The Other Half. Collab with Side Project. This is their coconut latte, bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout with coconut, coffee, and milk sugar.
Ooh.
13.2 ABV. I have no idea when this is bottled.
Dan, why are we drinking?
Dan, these all
Why
sound
are
like,
we drinking?
these sound like things that everybody's going to enjoy, right?
I bought
will.
this with the fact of Mike hates coconut. And this Mike hates coffee. And I just wanted to see the world explode.
Honestly, all that shit sounds delicious.
None of
sounds
these things
delicious
sound
to me, too.
accurate, but I think we should find out what's going on. So let's do it up.
Mike, are you excited?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Sure.
Very excited. Coconut is a fine flavor.
Joe, give us your thoughts about coconut off camera.
It's the single best adjunct ever.
No.
Kyle, this is
There's
why
a
you're piece
specific
of shit.
thing about
This is
coconut.
exactly why you're a huge piece of shit.
Well, the first thing about coconut is you gotta pour it gently.
Yeah, like super gentle.
Okay.
Just like Mac just did there.
The best thing about
Thank God
it
we're not
is
upstairs.
that I don't even really like it. I just like it in the barrels. That's it. Like when
Well,
there's a
coconut from a barrel is
It's the best.
infinitely different than
It's-
coconut added.
barrel, it's a toasted coconut.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So
Very dark.
yeah,
Like a
it
coconut?
It looks like a stout.
It looks like a stout.
It's very it's dark. It's borderline black. It's
No
got a little
head.
bit sepia undertones and a vast anticipating head.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the sepia tones.
Alcohol legs for days.
It actually looks, honestly, I mean, not to jump on your stout thing, it actually looks like a combination of a barley wine stout blend. Stouts typically have that kind of like, especially at this ABV level and what they're trying to accomplish. It's this like motor oil effect.
Yep.
And this tends to be, it's not light,
It's a little
but
thinner.
not as
Viscous.
dark, like dark.
Yeah.
But
I
it
get what
looks the part.
The way it's swirling, it does look very thin.
It has that blue blockers. Remember blue blockers with the sunglasses that you get from Bismarck and shit? It's got blue blocker legs on it.
Like there's absolutely no head to speak of.
No.
It's about the coconut with oil in it.
But it does. I mean, there's no head, but there's carbonation. Like if you give it a swirl, it comes back. So it's not like a completely flat beer. So I'm excited.
All right, let's get a whiff
Get
on
a
it.
whiff? All right.
Oh my god! It smells like cold brew.
A lot of coconut right up front.
To me, it smells like chocolate. It smells like almost like an almond joy or Mounds
Yeah. Okay. But I get the
With
cold
coffee.
brew aspect. Yeah.
coffee.
I get all that. I mean, all that's like spot on stuff. The thing is, I think it's perfectly like balanced across the board because I think everything's hitting. Nothing's like it's like it's way this and all these other things. It seems like there's a lot of everything at an equal or relatively balance on it, from the beer to the chocolate to the coconut to the milk sugar to the bourbon. It's like everything's there, even the barrel, but it's not like overly. It's a big beer, but it's not like one point is hitting hyper aggressive.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't want to call anything out, but I am getting way more coffee than anything else.
Are you, okay, I'm getting coconut with a little bit of chocolate in the background, but not much.
But that makes sense because you don't like coffee, you don't like coconut, so it kind of makes sense.
But for me, this is like a pleasant surprise because I've had a lot of Other Half stouts recently that have had coffee, but like the coffee was almost non-existent for me.
And I'll go a step further. I'm not lately, but I've had a bunch of Other Half like adjunct stouts and
Right.
barley stouts that are just one note, like hyper aggressive one note. Nothing. I'm like, there's not this thing they're saying is not there. I'm getting everything they're saying is here, and it kind of makes sense because since you don't like coffee, that's gonna trigger you. You're not a big coconut guy, that triggers you. So I think it's actually super interesting. Like
Right.
knows what's going on.
Like those other stouts, I always get like they melded it kind of deal with it. Like we gotta get this stuff out the door. And
Yes.
you know what I mean.
They're churning and burning. Their
I'm hoping
stouts
this
real quick.
tastes like the nose is.
Well, let's get a taste of it, man. All right, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
That's oozing bitter. I think the bitterness from the chocolate's coming through now. But the coconut that I was getting on the nose,
how's that coconut?
no, the coconut that was on the nose is kind of falling behind the bitterness and the boozy aspect.
This is, to me, it's almost like if there was an espresso Mounds bar. Because you are getting the chocolate, you are getting the coconut, and you're getting them in hefty amounts. Like those things are really, really shiny. And it's not so much like a cold brew like I thought in the nose. It is much more espresso, much richer, much darker to me.
I think this is drinking every part of, what's the ABV on this?
13,
Yeah,
something.
it's super boozy.
13.2.
The one thing I'm getting right off the rip, like honestly, I could deal without the milk sugar in this. I feel like it's not cloying to the point where I don't want it, but it's just like it's on the edge of being a little bit too sweet for me. Like I just wish it was like more roasty,
Like a touch.
coffee. Yeah.
I think the chocolate is coming through, and I think that's where the sweet aspect is like, this is just enough. If it was anything more than this, I think it'd be too sweet. The booze on this is freaking.
This is something, and I've said this a few times even today, but to me this is like what I call a beer fest beer. Like 1-2 ounces is about all I can handle.
Yeah.
It is sweet. It's bordering cloying. I find that the coconut is extremely sweet. Maybe that's a combination of things we're both talking about. The chocolate to me is a little darker, a little more rich. It's not in that realm, and but it's probably boosted by that sort of espresso coffee flavor in my mind. What do you think, Matt?
I think this is one of the better barrel-aged beers and stouts that I've had from Other Half, and I think it's one of the better ones I've had in quite some time.
Is it Mount Rushmore stouts?
Recently, yeah, sure. Here's the thing, and I think it comes off a little bit biased for me, is that I've had such a bad run for Other Half stouts, more specifically Clad, more specifically barrel-aged stuff, has come off very one or two note that I think this is. I love the coconut. I love the chocolate. I think I think there's a beautiful balance between bittering and sweet here. I don't think this comes even close to overly cloying. I think the chocolate here is straight up baker's chocolate. There's no milk chocolate in this. It's powdery, almost like a puffy, powdery chocolate. And then, you get like the barrel portion of the show here. You get a bourbon. You get a little bit of triness, but you also get a roasted malt bittering. You get that sweet milk sugar. All that stuff's back and forth, but none of it's out of flux. Everything's pretty balanced. But the reason why I'm kind of biased towards this beer is that I kind of, we talked about, drinking this beer probably about half an hour ago.
Yep.
Because really what I wanted at that point, I was like, I want a barrel-aged adjunct beer. That was specifically what I kind of wanted to drink.
Yeah, I see that.
And we kind of said, oh, what are we going to do? We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do, okay, let's do this. And a pizza arrived, and we all hung out, ate food. And there's some part of me that was still like, you want that beer, you want that beer. And this is exactly the beer that I wanted in that moment. So it's almost like I'm a little bit biased and probably not the best kind of focused voice on this, because this is kind of what I wanted to drink, and it's giving me exactly what I want.
Right.
I had such dumpster fire, herky-jerky, fucking red-hot bullshit fucking Other Half that this is an epiphany and the point where it's just that good. I think this is fantastic. This is the best beer I've had.
Interesting. It is not the best one I've had.
But is it safe to say we found a stout with coffee that you'll drink and enjoy?
There's plenty of stuff. This is not something I would have normally.
Okay. All right.
But here's the thing. Would you call this a coffee stout or a stout that happens to have coffee?
The coffee's pretty strong to me.
No, I'm a coffee lover, so it comes off different for me. That's why I'm asking.
No, there's a coffee stout I had. I don't remember which one it was. I had it at a Trillium festival a couple of years ago. I don't remember what it was. It was one of their experimental series, and that thing blew my socks off. I had about 4 glasses. That was the reason why I was fucked up at that fucking party. And coffee was a major part of that flavor, and it's probably my favorite coffee. Centric is the wrong word, but as far as a major contributor to the flavor, I forget what it was called. Well, off camera, Sean will tell me. He'll remember, because He has a mind like a fucking. Anyway.
Sober person.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, this isn't bad. But for me, this is something that like 1 to 2 ounces is all I want.
Yeah. Now, you know what I mean? How is as far as you think about coconut? How do you come?
I feel like the coconut was much more prevalent on the nose, and it's kind of taken a back seat to the boozy aspect. The sweetness aspect, which I'm assuming is from the coconut, not so much maybe the dark chocolate or anything is there, but I think everything is so balanced. It's
Like
really not.
where you hate coconut and where this beer lives, like how does it differ? Like because you obviously don't like coconut. So why does this beer not a dumpster fire?
I think it's because it's so balanced with everything else in there. It's not the coconut isn't at the forefront of everything else. It's not a coconut centric beer, so I'm able to drink more of it. I don't think it's a bad beer at all.
You know, I think as I've had a couple more sips and more, where it's warming up and all the things, I'm getting actually slightly less sweetness, and I'm really sure like that sort of that hit of
I want
ethanol,
more of this.
and I feel like that the dark chocolate and everything, it's almost like a seesaw with that sweetness, where it is sort of balancing out. I feel like with that coconut lactose kind of sweetness. I think that dark chocolate, those things are sort of balancing out to me, especially as it warms a little bit more. And when it's colder, I feel like it was the sweetness was more clean, which is strange to me.
Well, that's the point that I was trying to say. Like, it's definitely like a pastry stout, or more specifically, like a candy bar stout, like you were talking about earlier. But I don't think it ever gets to the point where it's like sweet on sweet on sweet. There's other things to balance out, whether it be the roast of the coffee, whether it be the bittering from the baker shop, or something. Where did you end up?
Overall, I'm in the kind of same camp as you. Like I've had some beers from Other Half. Like one recent memory, it was a double sunset, like Ethiopian coffee
I drank
or whatever.
it. I
And
reviewed
like,
it.
I was like, "Where's my coffee? I
Yeah.
want the coffee." The balance is fine. I still think it's just. Honestly enough, I think the coconut is a bit too sweet for me. Like we have flip flopped. I'm like, I could deal without like less coconut. The milk sugar aspect.
Okay.
As far as recent memory, yeah, it is one of the better adjuncts bangers from Other Half. So yeah, we'll wrap it up. Down in the description below, Twitters, Instagrams, Untappd, FLX Beer Reviews, Nerd Sense, Massive Beer Reviews. You know where to find us. Peace. Cheers.
Did anyone watch what he just did?
Do I turn this on?
He was
Hit the big red button.
Pabst into his fucking stout.